welcome everybody. We've got special guest Lauren Fordyce here. She's a star attorney in Walker County doing criminal law, family law, and all that. Lauren, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. We're glad to have you on. Can you tell the guests, I guess, just a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how'd you become a lawyer?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Huntsville, Texas, which is Walker County. It's almost halfway in between Houston and Dallas, just about an hour north of Houston. I'm sorry. Um, and I went to Texas A&M University for undergrad, and then I went to South Texas College of Law for law school, and I became a prosecutor when I graduated, and then I just switched to the criminal defense side at the beginning of this year and just started working for you.
And so when you were a prosecutor, you said you were a prosecutor in Walker County, which is the
Yes.
Huntsville, Texas area, and Sam Houston State area. A lot of young people there for college. What kind of crimes do you see there often?
Yeah, so I would say that the three most common misdemeanor charges are minor in possession, possession of marijuana, and driving while intoxicated.
And when you're talking with our clients, or obviously we can't say anything that is privileged or confidential information, but what are the concerns generally that people have when they get charged with one of these things?
I would say that the most common thing that everyone is concerned about is having a final conviction on their record. I don't think anybody wants that. We try to avoid it at all costs. There can be some repercussions. I think employers always look at background checks, and some final conviction is always going to show up on that. It's important to not have a final conviction when you are applying to schools. We have a client right now that is trying to get into PA school, and he's got a final conviction, and we are trying to help him get away from that so he can get into PA school. So yeah, there are some repercussions with the final conviction, and we try to avoid that at all costs.
That's great. So for folks who don't know, I guess let's start with minor in possession, which is a Class C offense. Can you just tell our viewers like what's a Class C? Um, you know, Things like that.
So the way that misdemeanors work, they are separated into three classes: Class A, Class B, Class C, with Class C being the least severe out of the three. So the punishment range is significantly less than, let's say, a Class A misdemeanor. So with a Class C, it is a fine. You can be required to pay a fine. And if you do, that conviction is on your record. There are ways to avoid that, but that's kind of the punishment range for a Class C.
And are most of those filed with the Huntsville Municipal Court, or do they get filed in the JP courts?
So there are some in the municipal court, and then there are 4 JP courts in Walker County. And if you are outside of the municipal court jurisdiction, then your case gets filed in the JP court. The municipal court prosecutors are attorneys out of Haney, Pascal, and Ramoser, and the DA's office handles the Class C misdemeanors that come from the one of the 4 JP courts.
So the prosecutors are, not even full-time government employees in Walker County. It's a private firm that comes in and handles that for some of these municipalities.
Correct.
Okay. Does that affect anything in your mind, or have you, felt like you were a government prosecutor there in Walker County? Do you feel like there, any differences in how to deal with a municipal prosecutor versus like a county court or a felony prosecutor?
I don't think so. I've had a really good experience dealing with the prosecutors in the municipal court. The offers are pretty much the same across the board, with the prosecutors from Haney, Pascal, and Ramoser, and then the prosecutors at the DA's office. They're all very reasonable and easy to work with.
And what kind of things have you found to be effective for clients that they can do to help try to get a case dismissed for something like this?
So, with alcohol related offenses, I think that it's important to do some kind of alcohol awareness class from the beginning so I can show that to the prosecutor. I think it's important for the prosecutor to see that you're taking this seriously, and that you will work hard at trying to get the best case resolution for yourself. And then I am just an advocate for you in between you and the prosecutor. So if we can get some kind of class, um, I think that that always helps.
When you were a prosecutor in Walker County, let's say somebody has a misdemeanor, they're 18 years old, they've got no criminal history. What did you want to see from the defense attorney and from the defendant before you decided you were going to dismiss a case?
I'd like to see that they're a productive member of society. They are, in school or working, doing something to better society and better themselves. And then also a class just letting me know as the prosecutor that they're serious about taking care of whatever this case is, and that they would like to get it resolved without having a final conviction.
And without going into specific names of defense attorneys or anything like that, did you have an opinion of how of different defense attorneys and their relative, uh, or just how they interacted with you? Did that matter to you as a prosecutor?
I think so. It always was nice to have someone come in and be serious about taking care of their case, but also reasonable as far as expectations. And as a prosecutor, it just made it so much easier to resolve cases when the defense attorney is actively, trying in a reasonable way to resolve the case, bringing a certificate of completion of a class, or just showing who their client is as a person, as opposed to a defense attorney that just walks in um, wanting a resolution for their client, but not giving me anything really to work with. I think there was not a huge difference, but a significant difference.
Yeah, I felt the same way when I was a prosecutor. If I could talk with somebody I knew was a professional and had a sense of what I was thinking as a prosecutor, our conversation was always better. Since you've become a defense attorney, in you know, have you also found that to be helpful with that knowledge you had as a prosecutor of how they're thinking about it?
For sure. I mean, I think that it's important to go in and be personable and um, just friendly and reasonable with your expectations with the prosecutor. Um, I don't think that it ever works to your advantage to go in with a bad attitude, just saying, I demand a dismissal right now. Um, I'm not sure that I've seen that work out well with some prosecutors, but I think that it's really important to go in, present yourself professionally, have something to give the prosecutors to work with. And I also think, seeing it from a prosecutor standpoint, it's really difficult to um, personalize our clients or the defendants in their case, because they're just reading pieces of paper.
Hmm.
And so to them, it's just any other case. All they know is a name. They haven't seen this person, they haven't talked to them in person. All they've seen is what they have said from an offense report or something like that. So, as a defense attorney, I think it's really important to give your client some kind of personalization when you're talking to the prosecutor, because it just makes them more human.
And then I guess let's touch on DWI. In a DWI case, what are the issues you're seeing in Walker County that's you can use to help your client, or that maybe a client doesn't realize, or something like that? If somebody's just watching this video, they just got charged with DWI in Walker County, what would you want them to know?
I would want them to know that it's a slow process for sure.
Hmm.
Walker County is relatively slow with their intake process just because it's a smaller county, it's a rural county. So it takes a little bit for the case to get from the agency, whether that's Huntsville Police Department, Walker County Sheriff's Office, Department of Public Safety. It takes a little while to get from that agency to the DA's office. And then from there, if that agency has taken your blood, it takes a while to get the blood results back from the DPS crime lab. I think it's probably anywhere from 3 to 6 months just because they are so backlogged with testing blood and drugs and all of the things. So it is a slow process, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, hey, Lauren, I appreciate you coming on today, and I know our viewers are going to find some of that helpful. If you've got DWI, possession of marijuana, public intoxication, minor in possession, really any criminal charge at all in Walker County, give us a call, 936 596 0407, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, Lauren.
Thanks for having me.